everyone always asks me, is Nexx noisy?
Guys, we have arrived to Nexx factory.
So we're now entering the building that was burned down in 2017, 2018. This is the place where we produce the shells. There's no helmet without shells, so you can imagine when this burned down, it was quite tough. The one you see in the entrance, in the lobby, the one with the signatures, this is the first shell after the fire. Where the raw material is stored, fiberglass, carbon fiber, and pre-grade fiberglass, pre-grade carbon. So over there, there's a big freezer where we store all the carbon fiber in the foam. This is the cutting area where we have, the pre-cuts and the storage for the raw materials. Then in the next room is the pre-production of the carbon shells only. And then we're moving to another room, which is a room or a production area which every helmet manufacturer has. It's the fiberglass production area. Almost every company has this setup. Only those two rooms are different.
Okay, so this is the production section where we are now able to start filming.
So you can see he's taking the shell that they just pre-produced. And here you can see we have the form negative one. Now we will have to bring in the balloon, which is on the end. And this balloon will then be pumped and inflated and deflated in a special rhythm with special pressure and special temperature on a third time. To find out the right algorithms to do it is in the beginning the hardest part. So this shell will now go to the scale. And if the weight is within the range, he tells the system which helmet it is, and he says yes, and then the helmet is born. So from here on, we can track the helmet. So we know exactly now where this helmet is, who worked on it, and when. But this is how it looks now. And you see this middle stripe, right? And people often think this is because it's too hard glued together. But basically, this is where the resin, which is too much in the bolt, goes out. Somewhere it needs to go out. So it's here.
It's nothing.
No, it's nothing. It's really light. At this point, someone will check all the lines if the structure of the carbon is perfect. And only if all this is done, the quality will say, okay, we can move to the next stop. This is a fiberglass shell. You see, it looks very different. The weight is a little bit more heavy than the carbon fiber shell. The carbon is also thinner, transfers more noise. Yeah. So carbon fiber helmet is always a little louder than a fiberglass helmet. So this is where we do the sandings. Over there we have the water jet, which is a cutting machine which cuts with water. Can do like very detailed cuttings. After this, the shell goes to the first layer of resin. First we do the material on the shell to then sand it down. And then there will be another layer, sand down again, and only then the shell is ready to be produced, painted.
This is where we put resin on, sanding, so wow. Guys, this is so exciting. It's so reassuring as well to see how your helmets are actually being made, how there is humans behind it. I take it maybe that water machine. Oh, it goes behind the wall. You can kind of see, it does explain that water cuts this, and then that's ready to move. Okay, so the cutting, they will check if everything is correct, and then from here we are going to the sanding area. This is really fascinating.
So before we do the first sanding, we're applying this transparent resin. Then it goes to the sanding and it will turn into this.
Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is resin, and then this is sanding after. And then we do it once again. So resin, sanding, resin again, and sanding again. Sanding machines, I don't really want to get into these people's space too much. Respect that there is their place of work, but just a little bit, just to kind of show you what those machines look like. Well, now there is a summary.
We build the shell, right? You saw the first time cutting the raw materials, preparing the shell, baking the shell, water cutting the shell, sanding the shell. So now the shell is ready. So this is what it takes to prepare a shell. And this is why a carbon or a fiberglass helmet is more expensive than a plastic helmet. Because all this you don't need for plastic helmets. So from here we are moving the shells to our painting area, because this is the next step.
So I need to apologize to all my YouTube subscribers. This is filmed in the wrong format, is because I'm trying to respect people's space of work. There is a lot of us. I'm trying not to chuck two cameras into people's faces and film in one format, and it happened to be the portrait one. So that's why you're watching in portrait. But I hope this is still quite informative for you.
We only have one part of the helmet coming from Asia, which is the visor. All the rest is from Europe and mainly from Portugal. All the stitching, all the textiles, we do all in-house.
This is where all the colors are coming from. This is the painting area. The way it smells, it's just incredible. Guys, look at all these helmets. Look at this, so incredible. Okay, this one is one I'm absolutely in love with. Look at this is the carbon, the purple carbon, the OG.
So the first thing that the helmet needs is, if it's a carbon fiber helmet, like the one that he has on his head, we're doing with a little airbrush, we're doing all the design lines with a black airbrush. This is a manual process. Then if this is done, we're going to this section over there, which is the sticker section. After this, we have the final coating, which could be either matte or glossy.
Is the airbrush painting for carbon only, specifically?
Yes. All the black lines, they're manually applied. This is a clear coat now, you see? So he's producing wild prose, so that's not the black lines. But this model is manually painted. All the hajibish are manually painted, and all the black lines are manually painted. So it's a lot of manual work.
All the little parts, all the little ventures, little mounts, everything is painted here manually. It just goes to show how much manual work there is. Guys, this is the hajibis. This is just wow. So much manual work, guys. Honestly, it just makes it appreciate just so much more how many humans actually touch your helmet, make sure that it's perfect, make sure that it's safe.
In this section we do everything with stickers, which means the shell will be delivered either color painted or carbon fiber or whatever is the base. And then we have the water decals, which will be applied by hand, as you can see here. So if we go around, so you can see it's a manual process to put on all the stickers. And they're very thin, but they still have a protection film on top of it. So the very last step is removing the protection film, because the actual sticker is only like micromillimeters. This is the protection layer. You can just feel.
This is like skin almost.
Yeah, this is
thin.
So, but this one is protecting this. This is the actual decal. So try to feel how thick this is. Yeah, you cannot even feel it. It's so thin that you cannot feel it.
Guys, I literally cannot feel this.
It's like nothing.
Look at that. And now we're going
those are all the shells.
through the warehouse. These are all the shells.
Here you can see all the different linings.
Guys, these are all the linings of different sizes. So we've been told that the shells can still be decided which size exactly they're going to be, which I assume depends on the padding, but we're gonna hear from a specialist.
The warehouse for all the lining parts. So when you look at a cheek pad, when we entered our warehouse, you could see plenty of rolls of textile, right? So this cheek pad has 5 different textiles and plenty of different foams, plus 3 plastic parts. And all this needs to be combined. First it needs to be cutted, then combined and sewed. And this is what happens in this section. That's our biggest department. Got a piece of needle.
This is the X-ray mentioned, which detects that there are no needles, no metal
We do the
pieces.
same like with the
So
shell.
everything is safe for you to
Empty, we reproduce.
put on your head. What is amazing is to know that all of this is handmade in Portugal. Only visors are actually imported from a different continent. So this really, I find it personally incredibly reassuring.
In here is the section where we produce the chin straps. Because the chin strap is the piece of the helmet which decides which homologation it has. Is it a European helmet with EC 2206? Is it an American helmet with DOT? Or a Chinese helmet with CCC? This will be here. In here we do the pre-production of the EPS. For example, the one for the X-Red 3 is made out of 3 pieces in total. A front piece, an up piece and an inner piece. And they are connected by little rubber bands, not by glue anymore. We stopped using glue. So we are saving around 8 tons of glue a year. 8 tons. Which is really good for the environment as well.
Is that Nexx only or in general?
No, that's our own patent, the way we do it. By not using the glue, there are 2 different advantages. One is that the inner shell can micro move without the outer shell, which has a little bit of an impact on the first impact. But it also creates a nice chamber in between the 2 lines, where we can actually flow the air and get out the old air.
This is the assembly line, so all the parts are being brought in here. This one goes to Guatemala.
So what you see, they took the shell out of the shell, they produced the chin strap, and they mounted the chin strap to the shell. So this is fixed, you cannot change this. They added all the linings and then brought it here to the assembly line. So she will pick this one, and then we'll add all the different needs that we have. Like the first thing is visor mechanisms, ventilations, and then step by step it will be built, and on the end it's a finished helmet. So this one is
And that's your final helmet
now assembled.
ready for shipping.
The penetration test. This is the impact test. And then we have over here the test for the chin straps. Then we have a freezer, so we do long-term freezing, but we also freeze them down, take them out and do testings to see how they behave in like freezing cold winter. Right? So this one is testing how long we can open the visor till it finally breaks. So right now it's 6,239 times. But we also have a machine over there to test the lining. So we'll have a metal head going into the helmet, out of the helmet, into the helmet, out of the helmet, all day long. We do the test till they really break. And sometimes it's like 200, 300,000 cycles. So this one is UV, and we artificially create, I think, Antonio, it's 12 months in one day. 24 hours is like 12 months, right? So if we run it 24 hours, we can do 1 year of sunshine. So if we put it in there 5 days, 5 years of sunshine.
So that's for paint more than anything, or is that
It's
still
for
safety?
paint and materials. This one here is rain testing. So we have different.
Is the what, sorry?
Huh?
What is it?
Rain.
Rain.
So we have different jets up there. So we can do like sprinkles. We can do streams, like different type, to see if the ceiling and everything is keeping up the water.
Yes, and the heat. UV, rain, and the heat. Basically, everything gets tested. The way this works is designed for the spike, not to touch this metal, and this is the drop, which I will try to film as cool as I can. But look how high this actually goes.
The impact, you cannot go above the red line. We're far away from the red line.
And this is part of the ECE or
This is part of EC06, yeah.
ECE
2206.
Must be a new helmet, but we will try this one just to.
Normally you don't do it with the helmet that has already 4 impacts. Jesus. So now we need to remember this helmet has 4 speed impact tests and a penetration test, right?
And this is to the people who I keep saying that this is supposed to crack on an impact. We've had 4 impacts and a penetration test, and the inner shell is still intact.
This is like into the material, but when we turn it around in the same spot, you're not even having a dent or anything, like zero.
Super professional, not
Let me see.
with the
Let me see.
questions.
I can't even read this.
Listen, I will read it to you.
Okay.
I want to know what affects noise in a helmet. Everyone always asks me, is Nexx noisy? And to me, no. But I want to understand what dictates whether the helmet is noisy or not.
It depends on the helmet. So we have helmets that are more noisy than others.
Mm-hmm.
If you build a racing helmet, noise is not considered as a priority.
Yes.
If you have a traveler helmet, noise has a priority.
Mm-hmm.
So you do a closed sealing on your neck to make sure there's no wind turbulences coming in.
Right.
Another point is the materials. Carbon fiber is more loud than fiberglass.
Yes.
But overall, I would say we are quite quiet.
And I definitely do agree with it. Compared with some other brands that I used before, I find it relatively quiet behind it.
But then if you talk to 10 people riding the same helmet on 10 different bikes, they all have a different opinion. Do you have a windshield? How tall is your windshield? How tall are you?
Of course.
Where is the breaking point of turbulence? So many factors, yeah.
Okay. My next question is, there is a talk about helmet expiry date. Some say it's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. What's the truth with Nexx?
So we recommend 5 to 6 years.
Uh-huh.
And the reason for this is that if you look to your terrace or balcony and you look to your furnitures, which get sunlight, how do they look after 3 years?
Yes, they kind of fade.
And what do they do if you touch them? They break.
Suffocated.
Same happens to a helmet. But you don't know how far the process is. You can only see it with the crash. But you don't want to know afterwards, oh fuck, it was expired. Can I say fuck? I don't know. Beep. So that's why we say we can assure that within 5 to 6 years, nothing will happen. Afterwards, we don't know.
And is that date from the shell creation?
It's basically from when the helmet is used and affected by UV light.
So starts being exposed to the outer part, basically.
Yes.
And then I wanted to ask about the safety testing. So we've seen some testing. Obviously, we've got the DOT, which is American. We've got the ECE 2206, which is the latest regulation for Europe. And then there is the ACU Gold for UK as well. So how do you choose which models you test for what? And do you do more tests than the actual requirements are? Because you've mentioned you do extra for some of the models.
So all ECE06 helmets on the market pass the test. But when you look to I like to compare it with cars. You know, you take a small car and you take a G-Class Mercedes, for example, or a big Volvo, right? They all have probably 5 stars in a crash test. But do you think you're a little bit more safe in a big luxury car than in a small city car?
Yes.
You are. So the same is with helmets. You can build a helmet to meet the requirements, but you can also build a helmet to extend or exceed all the ones. And this is what we always try. So for example, all our shells are tested with the penetration test, regardless if if it's required or not.
Mm-hmm.
For the ECE06, you don't need the penetration.
But you still do it.
But we
with
still do
obvious-
it, yeah.
No, okay.
We also do the Triple C, which is an Asian certification, but we do tons of different certifications for Chile, for example,
So it
or
depends what
Brazil.
country you produce
Exactly. And then those helmets are mainly only legal in those countries. That's why you should never buy a helmet, online. When you live, let's say, in the US, you should not buy a helmet from Europe because it's a different certification and it does not meet the requirements of the US.
Yes.
Also, the fitting might be different because there are different fitting styles.
Yes.
We have the Middle European fitting. So those helmets fit us
So
perfectly.
it's like the head shape. They
Yes,
adjust
yes.
your shell to various
Yeah.
nations almost as if.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Because
I did not realize
the
that
shape
at all.
of the head goes from like an egg like we have to very round in Asia
Yes.
or something in between in the US. So yeah, the ACU. We do the ACU as well in
Yes, my
in the UK.
hajibis, right? If that's how
We
it's pronounced.
actually do it on all the helmets, even though it's not required.
Last question. What I've had many times from many people before is that helmet's supposed to be designed, and again, this may be just some sort of like hiccup from the history, but basically that when you hit your head, the in shell or like the inner shell is supposed to crack because that's supposed to absorb the impact and not your head. So we debunked this. This is absolutely true. We saw the test. The shell, the inner shell is absolutely fine.
To be honest, I've never heard this. I'm not an engineer, and I'm not sure if in the past there was a system like this. I have never heard it. We can actually ask some of the engineers if they know about this. But the EPS inside the styrofoam, let's say
Is that called
styrofoam.
EPS? Yeah, because I'm calling this inner shell, but it's EPS.
It's EPS, yeah. And you see, you have learned that there are different parts of it.
Yes.
And sometimes those different parts have different densities, which is the how tight it is. Because you want the material to be very soft to slow down the impact. And then you need another material which is hard enough to protect your head against the impact. So it's like a bumper, but then it needs to be stopped by a harder
And
material.
there is space in between as well.
Yes. So,
Okay,
but that it's meant to be cracked, I've never heard about this.
That's really good to know now. Thank you
You're welcome.
so much.
Glad you have you here.